Hi there, and welcome to the old forest cave, as I like to call it, up here in my local woods. I'm just having a cup of coffee. Skål. I'm not going to do a long introduction to this video. I'm just going to get straight to the point, because what I'm going to say here is, I believe, very important, and I want people to know about it. Military conscription, draft. It seems like it will very soon be a reality in Europe and North America. So what's going on here? Well, first of all, I will say that some countries, like Norway, already have military conscription. But what we're going to see is a general draft. And it is important to understand what that means, what it might mean for you and your family, and what to do about it. Now, I've talked about the situation in Ukraine, so I'm not going to get into that in this video. But no matter what you think about the situation and who's to blame and all that, well, I will say that at this point it doesn't really matter. Because when you get that letter saying that either you or your son or your daughter is going to have to go and fight the enemy, I think that you're going to have to ask yourself some fundamental questions. You're going to have to ask yourself if you are willing to send your son or your daughter, maybe yourself, to be killed in an armed conflict. Because that's potentially what could happen. Now, I will be very transparent and upfront and all that about this matter. I am against the principle of mandatory military conscription. I believe it's morally wrong that the state can own you, which they do in that case. So in Norway, I believe it's, I can't remember now if it's 9 months or 12 now, but essentially you're the property of the state during those months. And I do not support that. I think it's wrong. And if we have learned anything from history, it is that wars are normally not about right or wrong. They are normally not about defending your country. They are about resources, political pride, greed. And I could go on and on with that list. So I've printed out some recent articles, and they're all basically telling the same story. They're saying that Russia will attack the West within a few years, and because of that we have to upscale everything military, the defensive forces, and we have to implement the military conscription. So here's from the Telegraph. They're writing, "Public face call-up if we go to war. Military chief warns." And they say that the army, this is, I believe, in the UK, is too small, and the British public will be called up to fight. And here it says that Putin could attack NATO in 5 to 8 years. That's the German defense minister who says that. And they're all calling for more money, more resources to the military. Large numbers of civilians will need to be mobilized in case of the outbreak of war, and governments should put in place systems to manage the process. That's quoted Admiral Bauer. And the Norwegian commander-in-chief says that we are running out of time and we have to upscale our defensive forces. So there is this quote that says that I don't know how the Third World War will be fought, but I know that the Fourth World War will be fought with sticks and stones. And that means, of course, that it will be devastating. And I would start preparing an escape route. Now, I know it sounds dramatic, but I would start at least thinking about what to do before you get called out to the military, to join the military, before your son or your daughter gets that letter. Because you don't want that. I wish people could understand what's going on now. I wish people were not so brainwashed. It's not black and white here. It's not like we are the good guys and the Russians are the bad guys, and it is not like that in the real world. I wish people could wake up, because we have to refuse to take part in this. Listen, wars are not about right and wrong. Wars are not about protecting your borders. Wars are about protecting the financial interests of greedy old men. And it has probably always been about that. And these greedy old men are sending young men out to die. And I was, and it's not right. And we must refuse to be part of that. And it's no good if one or two people say that I refuse to take part in that. Then they will just throw us in jail, right? So please, use your voice now. Now, of course, a message like this one is not popular among the establishment. So please help this video by writing a comment, like the video if you like it, share your opinion in the comment section, and consider subscribing. That will immensely help spread this message. Now, I have here in my notes, in my little book here, also that a war may and probably will be used to implement new laws limiting your freedom and restrictions, limiting your choices, more censorship, new taxes, because someone has to pay for all the weapons and all of that, you know, the taxpayers. And also it will be used to implement a CBDC, a central bank digital currency. And the central bank digital currency, which I have talked about in other videos, will be linked to a social credit score system. Wars typically are used to implement major changes. So I'm seeing that on the horizon. It's raining. We had a very cold weather here in Norway for weeks. But now all the snow is melting, and yeah, I'm looking forward to spring and warmer weather. I'm going to leave you with some words of encouragement. The government, or whoever says that they are in charge, they do not own you. You were born free, and freedom is our natural state. And we are so lucky because we are surrounded by all this beauty. And I think that life is a beautiful thing. So go out there and seek adventure and live your life. And don't let these people even suggest that you should waste your life dying on a battlefield for nothing.